This video we're going to look at how to create a panoramic image or panorama with multiple images in Photoshop. First we're going to open up some files just to show you how this is done. This is just a piece of a lesson from the textbook. We're not going to do the whole lesson because we've done most of it before. So if we navigate to the shared drive, go to the Fajoli folder, Photoshop lesson files where we normally go. This is going to be on lesson 10. And you'll see there's a series of images, 1441 through 1446. I'm just going to open up 3 of these for now, just so you can see that when you create panoramas, which you will be doing by taking your own pictures, you want to have them very sort of close to each other. There should be some overlapping elements. So as you can see, these two are next to each other in the series. There's about 1 inch or 2 overlap from this same building and this one yellowish tree. So we would actually have these probably about there when they get overlapped with each other, right? So Photoshop will do this stitching together, but you have to have overlap. You can't take pictures that don't overlap because they won't work with the effect. Okay, so first what we have to do is once we have our pictures taken, we have to match them together, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is to go back to that same folder and open up the 1441 picture, okay? Next, we're going to also open up the 1442, or you could open them up together. So what we want to do when we have the 1442 picture open, you can see as we compare these, this one is a bit more overexposed, too bright. So we'll go to Image, Adjustments, and we can do Match Color. Once we have this open, we can choose down here the source of what we want to do. So we see all the other open images we have, so we can match it to the first picture that we have. Now you can adjust some of these, but for the most part, leave it and let Photoshop do it automatically. Press OK. Now you can see the coloring and the exposure is perfectly matched between these two. So what we'll do is repeat that step for any of the pictures in your panorama. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the rest of the photos here. As you can see, some of these are too bright and not quite as saturated as well. So we want to keep matching them back to this 1441. So we'll go to 1443, Image, Adjustments, Match Color, choose a source, 1441. You can see that's changed. And we'll keep doing it that way. Of course, if you don't like how some of the images are changed, you can always add adjustment layers later. Okay. Now they should be all matched, and you can go through just to check visually that they are. Now what we need to do is actually stitch these together. So the way to do this is to go to the File menu, and this is under the Automate, and here you will see Photo Merge. It's the last one. Click Photo Merge. Now we've done this once before, but instead of stitching them together, we did them stacked on top of each other. It was a different sort of merge that we did, but this is going to be different. So we want to keep it set on Auto on the layout, and on the source files we want to choose the files that we want. We're going to go to Browse and choose these. Press OK. And down at the bottom you want to check vignette removal and the geometric distortion. This is going to help to keep it as best as possible for the stitching together. Now press OK. And this will take a few minutes as it's quite a complicated process. But it's interesting that at the end you'll see that what is done is actually automatically creating masks on each layer and then lining them up so that they perfectly match. And really you can do this manually, and in the past you'd have to do it manually, but now Photoshop has an automatic feature for doing this. And there we have it. We have this all stitched together. Now, obviously there are some transparent areas around, so what you have to do is just use the crop tool. And remember, with the crop tool, look at the top on the options bar. You do have this option to either delete the crop pixels or just to do it non-destructively. So if you uncheck that, you can actually crop without deleting things. But we'll leave it on for now because we really don't want the rest of this. So what we want to do is get as much as possible of this image without any of the transparent area. So I'm going to bring this down just below. Whoops. Bring the bottom up. A little more sky here. Bring this side in. That should be good about there. So once you have it, press enter. And of course you can go through and change some of these. So what we can do with the sky up here, you can use a stamp, clone stamp, or content aware fill to fill that in. So let's show you how to do that. Let's zoom in. I'm going to use the navigator as I usually do. So we can get ourselves up here. So in this case, let's first try the content aware, as it's the easiest to use. So I'm going to select that area and let's make it a little smaller. I'm going to right click and transform the selection so that I can bring this a little closer to the area I want. Press enter. Now we're going to do edit fill. Whoops. We need to choose the layer that we're on here, which should be this middle. Okay. Edit fill, and let's choose content aware and fill that in.